Dumelang to the viewers of Playing the Field with Shakes. It's another episode. Let's go.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. You guys could have chosen the MTN action, but you decided to watch the show. I know the others are coming later, so which is fine. You're here, and I'm happy. I'm waiting for the game to end, and then I will react on my social, so look out for that. But the conversation I'm having today, I have a very important guest that's coming on. He's a scout, he's an analyst, and he's a coach too as well. And he was part of South Africa's success. Bafana success at the AFCON, now at the semis. He was part of that. And the nice thing I like about it, he's got a story with Chiefs, he's got a story within South African football, and as well as Chippa United. And I asked him the simple question. We used to import quality African foreigners. What happened to those times? And he didn't duck it.
Guys, when you talk about analysis, right? When you talk about analysis, you talk about this guy. He's an independent technical scout. He's the head analyst of Bafana, a UEFA Elite Scout graduate, and possibly Jose Mourinho's biggest fan. Sinesipho Mali, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, my brother. And how are you doing?
No, man, I'm all right. I've always wanted to find out from you, man, like, because you admire Jose, right? And you've even celebrated like him, which is great. And you always have these mannerisms that are like him cool. Was it coaching first? And how did you get to scout, man? Because like it seems like you were probably supposed to be being the special one. What happened there?
Look, whenever I get a question like that, I always tell people that, yes, I've never stopped coaching. The only difference is that now I coach using videos rather, but yeah, coaching was a big part of my foundation in terms of football. I started coaching at the age of 14 at youth level. Mm-hmm. And then from 2015, after the experts meeting with the World Football Academy in Barcelona, and when I got to see and understand the world of specialization a little bit better, I got inspired to fell in love with performance analysis. So that is just how it started, because even when I was a coach, I still had massive love and passion for analysis in general.
Yes.
But obviously after 2015, got to understand a little bit deeper in Barcelona. Then I fell in love with it, and I decided that no, I want to be a specialist, because I felt at the time it was an area that was not really considered as a key component of the coaching process in South Africa.
And I mean, I'm happy to see like how your life has turned around and what you're doing in South African football and all that stuff, which is like really great. And when I have someone like you here, I get happy because I'm just like, these are questions I need to ask him, and he can definitely answer it, because you're part of the national team, and as well as also you've done club football as well, and you've gone to Barcelona, as you've mentioned as well, and Mushina to Grad and all that stuff. Listen, man, I look back in our past, right? And I see that we had players in Bundesliga. We had players in the Premier League. We had players playing in Serie A. We had players playing at the top leagues. And sometimes maybe we took it for granted at the fact that like every single week, you'd see Steven Pienaar, Everton every weekend, I guess. We used to have top players playing in the top 5 leagues, man. Why are we not having that situation anymore from your analysis eye?
I think my honest answer is a little bit brutal as well. Is that as football keeps advancing and evolving, I don't think as Africa we kept the pace. And maybe to be more specific, as South Africa, we kept the pace with the game and always anticipated what the game of the future brings. Because if you anticipate what the game of the future brings, that already sets you to be able to be a little bit on the front foot and to be ahead in terms of knowing exactly how to adjust and adapt to what the game of the future demands. So I really do think that the game has left us a little bit behind, and as a result, we now have to play a catch-up game, and that is a reflection. It reflects on the players we produce these days. Like like you say, we are no longer able to really have players playing in the top 5 leagues. And what is that? What is the reason for that? So we have to relook in terms of our development structures, development systems that we have within the country. Because to have players for that level, you need to be consistent in terms of how you develop players, and the development of players, meaning you have to also invest in terms of the development of coaching in coaching education.
And you mentioned a lot about youth development. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate our youth development right now? Of course, it can improve, and with the work that you're doing, which is great. But at this current moment, how would you rate South Africa's youth development right now out of 10?
Yeah, look, I think we are getting there. I don't think we are completely bad, but to rate it is a bit. I think we start late. The big problem is that we start a little bit late. If you look at the rest of the world, like I was at AS Monaco in December, and if you look at in terms of their systems and structures, they already have satellite systems to identify talent already at 5, at 6, and in South Africa, we start formal structures at under 30. So if you look at it, you are 7 to 8 years late to the rest of the world, and then you can take it further in terms of when do the top talents often get identified in South Africa, at 18 and 19, and then they get into a formal structure to now start developing. And, so already they are then 10 to 12 years late and to the system. Maybe then that is why our players often pick late, because then they get into the development systems a bit late, and then they'll pick a little bit later compared to European players that start early. And of course, they'll complete their 10,000 hours of development a little bit earlier and be able to pick up a little bit quicker, maybe at 16, at 17. Already they're at a certain level of high performance.
I totally get that. I wanted to ask you, because you were part of this, and congratulations on being part of this. Bafana made it to the semifinals of the AFCON. Now, in terms of maybe a scouting thing, a transfer thing, we also climbed up the ranks on FIFA ranking as well. Did that do anything for us, having to go that far in a tournament, having to win a bronze medal? Did that do anything from us when you look on your side of things?
Yeah, I think it's very important to have the national team do well, because one, if the national team do well and continue to climb up the FIFA ranks, then it attracts the interest in terms of the top scouts around the world. Because one of the key considerations when scouts are also searching in terms of the markets with talent, it's always the ranking of the league of the countries, the ranking of the national team of the country, the performance of the national team of the country, because that then attracts the interest from top European scouts in terms of top clubs. So it's very important that we have a national team that continues to do well, because then that sets our players opportunities to be able to attract interest from European scouts to tap into our market.
Now, you speak to him quite a lot, I'm pretty sure. I mean, how long do we have Hugo Broos for, realistically, if you look at it?
Not to come in. I hope so, because like I always said, he's the best coach I've worked with. He's so important for our national team.
Yeah.
He's helped us a lot. He plays a father figure role. I've learned a lot from him. I learn a lot from him every day. It's amazing to work under a leader like that. That can fully trust everyone's ability. When I go to camp, I know that I'm fully trusted. I know that my opinion is, I think the last time I was in a club where really I felt I was making an impact and I was trusted was at Chippa United, where you are fully trusted and your skills are really, or maybe your talent rather, my talent is being put into good use, where I really feel that, okay, here, whatever I contribute, whatever small contribution that I make, at least it's taken in high regard. And that for me is critical. That feeling for everybody is critical all the time, to feel important and to feel that, okay, you're in an environment and you're working under a leader that believes in you, that trusts you, and that make you feel good about yourself.
I'm actually glad you cut in. I'm actually glad you spoke in that way. And I have to also say it's a master stroke that Hugo Broos was able to bring you in as well, because of even the work that you're doing with the ladies as well. So you've always been able to do certain things that improves the team. But before I ask this question, you said something that was very key, and I feel like if I don't ask you this, I would have been missing out on an opportunity. You said the last time you had felt like your skills were trusted was Chippa United, and now you feel in that particular way in the same way. And unfortunately, you'll always be linked to a very big football club in the country. Did you not feel like your skills were trusted at that particular football club?
Not really. I actually, you'll be very surprised. First of all, I think a lot of people that know me would know that I grew up supporting Kaiser Chiefs. That's one. And secondly, a lot of people also would know that it was my dream job. I had an opportunity to go to another big club in the same year, but I chose to go there simply because of the love I have for the club, and the club invested a lot in me. They took me to Manchester. And I'm always grateful for the opportunity to serve such a great footballing club. And I remain good friends with a lot of people at the club, and it was an amazing 3 years of my life. I've learned a lot in that 3 years as well. So like I'm saying, I remain grateful to the club that invested in me and gave me an opportunity to serve a club of that magnitude. So yeah.
Now, on when I see your rise in terms of after what happened with you parting ways with them and your rise with having to create SM Sports Consulting as well, Bafana Bafana Banyana Banyana, which is great. You're blossoming, which is nice and it's good to see. But when you look at Kaizer Chiefs Football Club, which a lot of people are invested in, do you feel like they're making the right steps in terms of the decisions they've made with Nabi and having to get the defender that has come in recently? When you look at the club, do you feel positive about where it's going now?
Yeah, I trust the leadership of the club, and the club is under great leadership, and for sure they know exactly what they're doing. The club has been there for many years, and the club has been successful, so they know exactly what they're doing. So, and it's normal. I mean, clubs at times, these things happen. If you check all around the world, it happens at Man United. It happened with Real Madrid. It happened with Barcelona. It happens with the best in the business. So it's normal. It's part of the game. But the big clubs know how to come back, and I know the top leadership that there is at the club have strategies in place and plans in place to bring the club back to where it belongs.
That's good to hear. Now, the question I was going to ask you before you had mentioned about Hugo Bruce was, in the past PSL, or at least Betway Premiership or the league that it was, we used to be able to scout really good foreign talent. And I wrote down some names. Okpara was a Nigerian international. Patrick Mabedi was a Malawian international. Nengomasha, Zimbabwe. Besuma, Zambia. Pelembe, Mozambique. Tiko, Mozambique. Billiard, Zimbabwe. It's a lot. The names is a lot. Why do I get this feeling that our scouting in today's time is not as similar as what it once was before? How do you feel about foreign scouting in the PSL? We're not getting as many internationals as we did before.
Yeah, like I said, football keeps evolving. Football keeps changing. So it's the same with the trends in terms of scouting. So scouting keeps changing and keeps evolving as well. And you've got different clubs that also tap into various markets. Like for an example, we know the West African market. There's already clubs, European clubs, because of the high production of players that come from that part of Africa. There's lots of attention in terms of the European clubs in that you will see there's lots of satellites, academies that are set in place there. So scouting is like that. So top clubs, before you set a scouting plan, you first do what you call market study, in terms of where do the best players come from. If that is then the trend in terms of the direction technical scouting is taking in the world, the question is, are we as South Africa adjusting to the trends and to those demands? That is the right question. And I don't think so. I don't think so. So times have changed. The way to scout and to know the best coming players have really, really changed. And we as Africa, we've got to really, really, really catch up.
But because if you look, but Sinesipho, the question I have for you, man, is that Why? Like, why are we not doing those things? Why are we not necessarily doing the things that is needed? Because when you look at the quality you used to bring in back then versus now, it's chalk and cheese. And I feel like we're missing a lot more than hitting the target. Why do you think we're not doing that?
I think the market is vulnerable. It's vulnerable in this sense that there's not a heavy investment that goes behind scouting departments within the country. So then the market, then we become vulnerable. In what sense we become vulnerable? It's because now anyone just recommends a player. You know, you recommend a player, you see a player on YouTube. We've heard stories where clubs are they look at the player on YouTube, they've never seen the player play live. They sign the player without seeing the player. And then they discover when the player is here that, oh, this is not what we saw on the video. You know, those for me are big exposing factors, in my humble opinion, to say, okay, are we really investing enough in terms of scouting to ensure that we minimize those sort of mistakes? If you look at it, if you look at how many African clubs have been banned by FIFA, and simply because of the high turnover of foreign players that they sign and quickly release because they're not sure about, you know, so that amount of money they have to spend on settlements and the FIFA ban and all of that, it's not even half of what they could have spent if they invested in terms of scouting. So scouting will then help them, objective scouting processes will then help them to eliminate these mistakes of high risk mistakes. And this is not applicable for only foreign players, but this is generally applicable for all players, even locally. Like, I mean, I just went to watch a first division match yesterday, you know, between University of Pretoria and Cape Town Spurs. You know, a lot of players, in my humble opinion, that don't deserve to play in the NFD. You know,
you think there's players that don't deserve to play in the NFD?
100%. You know, like, I mean, there's many of these kind of cases. You know, I remember when I identified Pule Modi. Pule Modi was then playing in the ABC Motsepe playoffs for Mangaung United. And this is, I think, as far back as 2017 or 2018, if I'm not mistaken. You know, but you could already see the qualities. And then furthermore, you saw Pule Modi then from Mangaung, then moving to Tongati FC. But again, the quality was there, and you could see that he's such a good player that does not deserve, to be there. You know, and it's a question of then if these top players are there, how quick are PSL clubs to identify them, you know? And for me, if these players are identified so late, more often than not, it means that how thorough is our scouting really?
Listen, I'm going to play a little bit of a quick game. 5 names that I'm going to mention. All you have to just tell me is what league that you would see their ceiling can be. So I'm going to mention a player, a South African player, a youngster, and then I'm going to say their ceiling. And you can say either Premier League, you can say Eredivisie, or you could say Betway Premiership, or you could say the Portuguese League. One answer, one word, and that's about it. Is that all right?
Okay.
Awesome. So player number 1, Chandre Campbell, has already moved to Belgium. His ceiling, where can you see that?
I think he can move into another highly technical league within the top 5. The French league.
The French league. I love that. Okay, this is cool. This is good. Next one, Sifumbo of Cape Town City.
Again, highly technical player with speed, also good physical profile. Perhaps could also fit in the Premier League. Yeah.
Awesome. Next one, Tapelo Maseko of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Would fit, perfect fit, Bundesliga.
Bundesliga, great. Next one, Mfundo Villegas.
Bundesliga team play a lot to transition, and if you look at one of his best skill set is the ability to break with speed.
Awesome. Next one, Mfundo Villegas.
Mfundo again, maybe Spanish league, highly technical league.
Awesome. Mduduzi Shabalala of Kaizer Chiefs.
Again, Spanish league, a highly technical player.
We got 3 names left. Siyabonga Mabena of Sundown.
Spanish League. Yeah.
Spanish League. Puso Tijajane of TS Galaxy.
Also, maybe the French League.
The French League. I love this. Last name, Relebohile Mogoe.
Oh, really?
Really? Oh.
All the leagues.
All the leagues. Would you say he's currently the best youngster in South Africa?
Yeah, he's the best of many, and I'll tell you why. It's because he's playing. You know, more than anything, it's because he's on the pitch every week. He's playing, and young players only get better by playing. Yeah, really is one of the best, but he's one of the best simply because of one reason: he's been given a chance to play, and that is how he's getting better and better. The competition is improving him.
Oh man, I love that. The last question that I have, I've only got about 4 minutes left. The last question I have is, I ask this question to every of my guests. If there's no wrong answers to you, Sinesipho, where is South African football for you right now?
We are in a big stage of finding ourselves.
Amazing. So that's positive.
Yeah, that's a positive. We're finding ourselves in terms of coaching education. We're finding ourselves through initiatives like we are doing of having symposiums of areas of specialization, like the one we are doing through SM Sports Consulting. We're finding ourselves also in terms of the international footballing space, you know, trying to really see our teams being competitive again in the international space.
Oh man, thank you so much, man. I want to take this time to say thank you for being as a guest coming onto the show. Also, man, the fact that you started this SM Consulting and what you've done for our national teams, for real, man. You guys don't get the headlines. We tweet about the players, we tweet about the goals, we tweet about all the coach, but we hardly ever talk about the people behind the scenes. And what you're doing is starting to bear fruit, and how you take it so seriously. So seriously, it needs to be applauded, man. Sinesipho, thank you so much for being a soldier. For some of us, you inspire us, man, with what you do. That's what I would like to say.
No. Thanks to you, my brother, for your time. And yeah, great conversation. And thanks again.
Here on this show, we have no fear, no favor. Objective all the way. Players, coaches, we're watching all of you guys. This is Mogoe of the Week. That feature is here again, Star of the Week. The Star of the Week is Patrick Maswangani. He was given the jersey number 10 shirt. That's the same shirt John Masoni used to wear when he was at Orlando Pirates. They retired this jersey number and they decided to give it to him. And not only that, he scores a beautiful goal this past weekend and having to wear that jersey with pride. And when he came off, being subbed off, did you see how Pirates played? Did you see where was the control? Where was the creativity? It was not there. And that is why he's a star of this week. The Mogoe, but Stellenbosch won. You know, Pirates won. You know, Sundowns are into the next round of the CAF Champions League, as well as Sekhukhune United. They're into the next round of Confederations Cup. So who's the Mogoe this week? Yep, we definitely got Mogoes. And the game of Orlando Pirates taking on Disciples FC, those linesmen, I don't know where they are from. I think they said something about South Sudan. I don't know where they're from. But those linesmen are absolutely horrendous for the decision makings that they made. The final score in the Pirates game should have been 7-0, but thanks to you guys and making wrong offside calls, it only ended 4-0. They chalked off so many goals that I couldn't believe it. And you know what? You make that mistake once. That's like, it's fine. We don't have VAR. It is what it is. But when you make that mistake over and over again, and you're supposed to be a CAF referee with those standards, nah. We need VAR in the qualifying rounds, guys, because they are the Mogoes of the week. Placing the right bets on the right games. Win big with Shakes from Rampedi on Bet of the Week. And this week for Bet of the Week, we're going with straight wins only. Straight wins only. No overs and unders, no double chancing, no straight wins. First game, Arsenal against Brighton, Arsenal straight win. Stuttgart going up against Mainz, Stuttgart straight win. Brentford going up against Southampton this coming weekend, Brentford straight win. Barca going up against Valladolid, Barca straight win. Napoli going up against Parma, Napoli straight win. Bayern against Freiburg, Bayern straight win. Real Madrid against Real Betis, Real Madrid straight win. Odds 11.83. You want to jump on, right? And those bets make sense. Before you do that, you got to click on the link below. Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za. Listen, guys, we really need to go because it's approaching halftime of the game between Cape Town City and Orlando Pirates. So I have to go. You have to go. Before you go, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified for future episodes. See you next week.